See, it's so annoying that we're not Halloween themed, but it doesn't matter because it's the podcast's 18th birthday. It can legally drink in Australia, baby.
That's true. That is true. I mean, but is Halloween a drinking holiday?
I'd say if you're above the age of 18, the legal drinking age, if you're above the legal drinking age, then yes.
Yeah, that's right. Halloween party's pretty big. Everyone comes dressed as, DJs. We got animals.
Every girl goes as Harley Quinn.
Yep, or a nun. We actually have had some nuns. Like, no sexy nuns, just
literal
actual nuns, literal nuns, rocking up at our doorstep. And we like to give the kids some healthy
alternatives. Alternatives to trick or treats. Yes.
Yes. So we give them some raw meats and some things that they can learn to cook. It's really good.
There we go. So that's us this week. That's the whole podcast. Thank you very much for watching. No, I'm joking, of course. Welcome everyone to a podcast now, episode 18, because we turned 18. That's right. I'm your host, Lachlan Rodwell, and I'm joined, as always, by someone who is not a zombie, Lucas Boreham.
That's true. If I was a zombie, I really wish I could be like one of those running zombies, because
one of the Zombieland zombies where it's like they're superpowered.
Or the World War Z zombies that just rip themselves apart. Yeah, exactly. That'd be good.
Yes. So this week, we're talking about Army of Thieves, the prequel to Army of the Dead, both of which came out on Netflix this year. First one directed, of course, by Zack Snyder. This one is directed by Matthias, I can't pronounce his last name, who plays Dieter in both movies.
That's hilarious because you said can't pronounce his last name, and that's what they say.
Yeah, that's
this
a
character,
reoccurring
Sebastian,
joke.
Can't pronounce your last name.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring joke. But again, I mean, you're more than welcome to try it. It's Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias.
Yeah, I'm glad the movie makes fun of it because that doesn't mean I don't feel as stupid anymore.
Yeah.
But yes, we're gonna review both of those movies, and we're gonna share our thoughts. Lucas kind of last week hinted at that he might not like Army of the Dead, and I'm ready to throw some punches.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll get there eventually, but first the news. Now, firstly, good news: Dune is getting a sequel. So the last 2 hours and 40 minutes of your life or whatever aren't a waste. It will be worthwhile. So that's good to know. But secondly, I don't typically do this as news, but it's kind of interesting. So Eternals comes out next week, and the reviews are out, and it's the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of any Marvel movie ever.
Wow.
So it's sitting at around a 60% with above 100 reviews. Now, I want to make a few things clear, right? Firstly, Rotten Tomatoes isn't an average review. So it's not saying the movie's on average is a 6 out of 10. It is a like to dislike ratio, meaning 60% of the critics liked it, 40% didn't. So all that says is the movie is at the very least divisive, right? And it's being seen as a big movie for diversity because it's got a huge diverse cast of characters. And, maybe people are thinking that the negative reviews are related to the diversity, but I'd say that's not the case.
That's silly.
I'd say that's silly because these aren't like toxic fans reviewing the movie. No, these are actual critics. It's their job to review movies. And they've given positive reviews to Black Panther, even Captain Marvel, which is a shocking movie. That got positive reviews. Black Widow got positive reviews. Shang-Chi, very recently, that got positive reviews. So I don't think it's a diversity thing. I just think the movie might have bit off too much. It might be a bit too big in scope. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Rotten Tomatoes and how people use that to judge movies?
Well, I feel like everyone uses it. Everyone's looking for that percentage. Oh my God, this got 99% Rotten Tomatoes. It's the best. However, I feel like more and more people should be looking at IMDb. I feel like that's a better source. They give out better, ratings per se, and they have a lot more information.
IMDb gives a combination, but mostly user reviews, right?
Yeah.
There's another site, Metacritic, that is an average of critics' reviews. I'll actually quickly look up Eternals now on Metacritic because it's just a good indicator, because Rotten Tomatoes can kind of skew things, because if a movie's a 6 out of 10 and let's say there are 10 critics and they all give it a 6 out of 10, then it's going to get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. But if a movie, say half of the critics gave it a 5 out of 10 and the other half gave it a 10 out of 10, then its average is 7.5, but it would get a Rotten Tomato score. It'd be about 50%, right? So it kind of skews things. So it's a big issue, and a lot of people kind of look at it. Okay, so Eternals, the average review on Metacritic is 55. So that is saying it's a bad movie. Rotten Tomatoes is saying it's a divisive movie.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because, as well, I mean, you have Martin Scorsese say, oh, Marvel movies aren't cinema. But critics across the board tend to give Marvel movies really positive reviews consistently. Like, to the point where it's kind of like, it's a bit weird. Like, why are you giving Captain Marvel a positive review? It almost feels like they're scared of the fans, and they don't want it. They know that these are the most popular reviews, and they want the fans. They want fans to like them, so they just give it a positive review.
Because I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Second it's any other studio doing anything else, then they don't get the same sort of treatment.
Yeah, they just shit on it, honestly.
Because, like, let's be real. We love Marvel movies, but they are, they are what they are. They're not masterpieces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more for the continuity that they've come to develop, like keeping the continuity through an insane amount of
25 movies or whatever now.
Has never been done.
Even James Bond can't maintain a continuity.
Exactly. And, I mean, that is world-renowned. But, yeah, I feel like people just absolutely love that this has been done right, with so many people's heroes coming together, because Thor has all their individual fans, Spider-Man has all their individual fans, and just under one hub.
Yeah, and collectively now, it's like we're all Marvel fans because we're all fans of specific things. And then you find new characters. Like, for example, I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy recently got a video game that came out last week, and I was playing it just being like, fuck, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and this would have never been, I would have never known that if it wasn't for James Gunn bringing this random hero team that he loved as a kid to life,
Yeah, exactly.
So, I would say don't judge. I think it's a bad idea to judge a movie based on its Rotten Tomato score. I think the kind of thing is that, we're kind of freaks and we'll go and see any movie. But, like, say, their typical family may have one movie every couple of months. So then they do need to have an idea of, I want to see a good movie. So I can see Rotten Tomatoes being used that way. But at the same time, if you are excited for a movie, don't let Rotten Tomatoes stop you. Exactly. And also, if you then like the movie, don't feel like, it's an invalid opinion because Rotten Tomatoes disagrees.
That's definitely happened before to me. I swear. I've looked on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, Venom. I actually really enjoyed Venom. I thought it was funny. The whole way through, I was kind of, just loving it.
Having a good time.
Having a good time. Actually, I would take back loving it. Loving it's like truly invested.
Yeah. But it's just it's like a roller coaster ride that you're like, it's good fun.
A roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride, and it's enjoyable. But for a critic to be like, oh yeah, this isn't a great movie, that's fair enough, because a critic should go and critique bigger films. I feel like Venom's Venom.
I know Venom is Venom.
That's what
and I just like to add as well, like, Eternals seems to me, this Rotten Tomato score kind of excites me in a way, because it indicates that they took a swing, right? That this movie, a movie that I personally was never excited for, I couldn't give a fuck about, is getting divisive reviews. Seems like, okay, they actually tried to do something, and it might work for some people, and it might not work for others. That interests me, as opposed to just getting this, like, conveyor belt of the same movie each time.
Oh yeah. Because they definitely had a kind of,
the formula. They have a formula.
Yes. Thank you. I was looking for that word, but yeah. And I mean, it was like good quality, a good quality formula,
Exactly.
and people were loving it.
People love McDonald's.
Exactly. Fucking people love Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And they keep pumping out the same shit, but like this formula, I guess with movies needs to change, especially with Heist, which we'll go on to talk about how Army of Thieves kind of delves into that Heist formula. But yeah, things do need to change, and I'm glad that they are.
Yeah, so I hope Eternals is a big swing, and then even if it doesn't land for me, I can at least respect that Marvel tried something new.
Yeah.
Because based on what's been said about the movie, it's gigantic in scope, and also the director, she's the first Oscar-winning director to direct a Marvel movie.
You're telling me James Gunn hasn't?
Of course not, mate. He's too busy writing Scooby-Doo, right, to win an Oscar.
Well, fucking masterpiece. But yeah.
I know, and I think, has Taika Waititi won an Oscar yet? I don't know.
Why hasn't he?
I don't think he's. At the very least, I don't think he got one before he directed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I actually might have a look at that, to be honest. Oh, he must have one.
But yeah, but Chloe's out. She's an up and coming brilliant director, Oscar winner. Yeah, she won an Oscar this year for Nomadland, which I watched and fell asleep in and thought it was very boring. But anyway, she's an Oscar winning director, so it seems like, and she came to Marvel. It wasn't like, Marvel was like, oh, we're going to make an Eternals movie. No, it was she went to Marvel and said, I want to make an Eternals movie. So she made the movie she wanted to make, and some critics don't like it. So it's a swing. It's a swing, and I like when they take swings.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no. Just on that Taika Waititi winning Oscars, he apparently has won 3.
Yes.
Oh, Academy Awards.
Yeah, that's it. That's an Oscar.
Academy Awards for, Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay. I'm trying to see what.
Did he win, or are they nominees? Is he a nominee?
I'm pretty sure he won. Winners and nominees. Well, Wait. Yeah, what the heck? Why can't it just show me this Google? Yeah, I think he has one, because there is a picture of him, with the little Oscar in his hand. And
I think he won for screenplay.
Yeah. Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture.
I don't think he won Best Picture. I really don't.
Maybe he got nominated.
I think he got nominated. Because I think that was the year Chloe Zhao won.
Oh, yeah.
So he was nominated for Best Motion Picture for Jojo Rabbit, and he won for Best Screenplay for Jojo Rabbit. But either way, Chloe Zhao is the first Oscar winner to direct a Marvel movie.
It's exciting.
Yeah, so again, big swing. Let's hope that it lands for some. That's all that matters. And we'll see as well what the audience think of it, because again, like Venom, that got really negative critical reception, but the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is insanely high. So there's a chance that might happen here, and Eternals has a really high audience score, but also it could be like a Captain Marvel, where Captain Marvel got a high critic score but a really low audience score. So maybe this got like a kind of decent critic score and a really low audience score. We'll see. We don't know. We don't know if it'll pay off. We'll likely review it next week on the pod, and hopefully it's a swing. Let's just hope it's a swing. Doesn't even need a hit. Yeah, it needs to be a swing that hits Lucas in the face repeatedly.
Just in the nose, what I'm looking for. Just breaks up a little bit, but yeah.
But we must move on. Unfortunately, we can't talk about Marvel movies forever, and we must move on to Zack Snyder. So he's had a big year. Zack Snyder's had a huge year this year.
Huge.
Who would have thought it?
Absolutely huge.
All kind of because of the pandemic, largely. So, of course, he released his version, the true version of Justice League at the start of the year, which I loved, frankly.
It was very good.
I loved it. I thought it was a great
movies like that length, honestly.
Yeah, no. It's especially if you're watching it at home. And it had chapters, you could pause it. It worked. And then after that, he had a Netflix movie called Army of the Dead, which is a zombie heist movie where there's it's a really interesting world where they managed to contain the zombie outbreak to Las Vegas, and then there's essentially all the money still left in the casinos that they're trying to steal, but there may be some other objectives going on. And I personally I remember watching the trailer for this movie and thinking, wow, this doesn't look like a Zack Snyder movie. And then watching it, it kind of, there are elements that do, but a lot of it doesn't. It's not dark. It's not necessarily dark and gritty. It's more fun.
No, it is.
It has like a, yeah, I don't know. It's
Zombieland-esque.
It's Zombieland-esque, but without being too stupid.
Yes.
Like my issue with Zombieland is that it just goes a bit too silly, just a bit too silly. Whereas this kind of keeps it, like Dave Bautista being the man he is, the machine, he kind of always brings it back to this really like ultra masculine place where it's like cool. Whereas, Jesse Eisenberg or whoever else, right? That like they don't have that. So at the end of the day, it's like it can kind of get a bit like fun and silly, but it's still ultra cool just because of Dave Bautista being the man he is,
That is true. But yeah, no, I did like the scope that, it was a heist movie with a twist that, they weren't dealing with the usual cops, it wasn't cops and robbers. It was fucking robbers and a zombie outbreak. Yeah. And I love the alpha zombie Zeus and that whole kind of ordeal. Yeah. That was honestly quite scary. Like I remember watching it and I kind of had to review it a little bit because I can kind of forgotten. But like I was actually like some of the scenes were quite brutal and quite scary. Yeah. And I was like, shit. I mean, some of Zack Snyder's fucking gore is in here.
He loves R-rated things, which makes him a weird choice to direct superheroes. But anyway, he loves it R-rated, and this is it's a hard R movie, yet it goes for it. And I don't know, I love the vibe of it, and the main reason I love it, and the thing that I think Zack Snyder does so well in this movie, is that he builds a world where there's just things and they don't explain it. It's just, this is the world, you accept it. My big issue with Dune last week was that it had to explain so much. And this is an example of just being dropped into a world where they don't explain anything. So for example, the movie opens with them leaving Area 51. And if you look in the background, there are 2 spaceships that fly off at light speed, right? And it's something you probably didn't even notice. It's something that you don't necessarily notice, but if you do, you're like, wait, did I just see that? And the implication is, these zombies, or the initial zombie, is actually an alien.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry, because I remember at the start they're fucking transporting it, and then that makes sense.
And that's why they're near Las Vegas, and that's how that all happens, right?
Yes.
And then as well, there's a scene where Dave Bautista's fighting off the zombies in the casino floor, and there's all the machines around him. Yeah. And one of the zombies is very clearly a robot. And I don't know if you noticed that either. And it's just, yes, there are robots.
I might have to rewatch this whole film again.
There are robot zombies in this movie that were used to spy on the zombies and keep tabs on them. And
wow.
And then the most obvious one, right, those are kind of hidden off in the background, and if you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
The most obvious one is the time loop that they hint at in the middle of the movie, and I love that as well. I know it's out of nowhere, but I love that. I love
that's what I also wanted to talk about today, because it is hinted a lot in Army of Thieves. This whole time loop idea, which kind of made because watching Army of the Dead by itself, I was like, at the end, I was like, everyone I like dies. Everyone dies. And I was so sick of it, because you watch a horror film and you go into it you want everyone to succeed and survive. Yeah. That's, your initial thought. It's a heist. You want everyone to get there, get the money and leave, everyone be happy because you like all these characters. But of course, they all just fucking die in stupid, dumb ways. And you're like, great, that's lovely. And that's kind of what got me to dislike this film. But then, when all these little kind of, I don't know, remnants of something bigger going on, like this time loop, how they saw the dead bodies that were literally themselves. I was like, that's very sus. And then with all this, kind of speaking of, 4, and now with the introduction of, these safes that Dieter kind of, brings up.
We'll talk about more of that in Army of Thieves, but the time loop is something that it's just hinting at things, it leaves you wanting more. I really there already is a sequel announced for this movie. It's called Planet of the Dead, and Zack Snyder's already talked about how they may go in the direction of time loops, and we'll see. And he's playing really coy about it.
I hope so.
And it just is really interesting. Well, it's interesting because, yes, you fall in love with these characters, and maybe this isn't the end of them, right? If it's hinted at that they've done this multiple times and they haven't succeeded in the past, well, then maybe we'll see those characters again in different situations, and we'll see. Because if this is a world where there are aliens and robots along with zombies, then there could be time travel. It could be, like, it's just, I've never thought about watching a zombie movie that is a world where it's not just zombies. It can be complete sci-fi. It could go in any direction. And I think that's really a bold new take that Zack Snyder went in. It could have been a very traditional zombie movie, but what elevates it for me is all these hints at a larger world that isn't what we've seen before from a zombie movie. And the other thing is, like, I don't really care for zombie movies. I think, take it or leave it. A lot of them are pretty average. I know a lot of people love Zombieland. It's just not even, it's not for me. But this movie, because it's a heist movie, and I do like heist movies, and it's got everything else going on with it, and the action's so good, and I love Dave Bautista, I love the movie. And the heist aspect, I think they pull it off really well.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's better, we'll talk about it, but I think it's better in this movie than Army of Thieves, because they're building up to this one big heist, and then when you think it's all going according to plan, it's like, no, wait, this is a zombie movie. Bang, it's a zombie movie.
Yeah. I did kind of hate. Well, honestly, when I was watching it, I hated it because you want them to escape with all the money, and then it's at the end, it's like they just need to escape, But I love that. I love that end sequence in the helicopter when it's like, we've got to escape. The nuke's coming. Yeah,
it's a great way of building tension, and because you do feel for the relationship between the father and the daughter with Dave Bautista. So that you're actually emotionally invested in seeing, at the very least, the daughter get out safely, Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, honestly, I really did love Dita's character in the first one. He was probably the only kind of character I really liked at the start, and then upon rewatch, I kind of understand. And the helicopter pilot, of course, she was just like,
played by Tig Notaro. She was great.
Yeah,
which
she's
fun?
Really good.
Do you want a fun fact?
Yes, please.
So, do you know Chris D'Elia or Chris D'Elia? How do you say his name? Chris D'Elia. No, Chris. I can't say Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly what he's done, but let's just say he's done bad things to women. So he was originally another one. So he was originally cast as the helicopter pilot, and what's sad is, like, he is quite a funny man, but he's a monster, so fuck him. So he was recast in the movie by Tig Notaro, who had to do all of her scenes without any other actors because they had already filmed the movie. Yeah. So, and you don't even notice. It's so seamless.
Wow. She's an amazing actor. Holy shit. Like, to act and have, like, no one to bounce off of.
Just acting like a tennis ball, essentially.
That's terrible first of all, it's terrible that she had to, do that. Cause
instead of just getting the role from the start. Because she's perfect for it.
She is really, like, she suited it, because she was kind of this, whack pilot that was just like, of course, she was probably the only believable character in all of that, because yes, there were those other zombie killers that put shit on YouTube that, like, made sense.
They fill out a lot of the cast with just kind of nobodies just to kill them off, which is fine.
Exactly. But, like, from the start, I knew that she was a keeper because I was like, she's just a great character. But her and Dita, I was like, these guys have to survive because I just love them.
Yeah.
And then when, Army of Thieves was, all about Dita's life, I was, like, kind of really happy.
Dita is a fantastic character, and I can... What I think happened was, I think Matthias, who's known for German movies, and Zack Snyder brought him to a new audience. I think he really fell in love with playing this character, and they probably, him and Zack Snyder and the writer of Army of the Dead probably had a few conversations and were like, look, let's just explore this character more. And then that's how we got Army of Thieves, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think happened, because it's such a strong character, because it's like, it's quirky but not obnoxious. Like he's nerdy and he's funny, but he's not annoying.
Yes. Similar to, well, I mean, we will talk about it in Army of Thieves, but like, he's like, yeah, he's the perfect nerd because he's just kind of like very anxious and very like kind of adorable, dare I say, that he's just like so like far out of his league, but like all he loves is safes.
He's like 100% on one thing. And that means he's going to struggle for everything else but the safes.
And
he does,
that.
and it's
I
great.
absolutely love that. Yeah, it's
and
so good.
I can't remember the other character's name. I don't want to just call him the Black Man, but what's his name? Do you know?
Oh, he was... No, I obviously don't.
I did like him. He had the Omega symbol on his chest.
And he was probably the one that kind of most, I guess... well, not exaggerated, but kind of pointed to these time loops.
His name's Vandero.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, he was kind of the one that kind of, pushed this idea of the time loops onto the honest, because he's like, dying over and over. And then even that scene where Dieter's trying to learn how to, shoot a gun for the first time, and he just like instantly knows how to do it. Like there's obvious there's something there. There's something going on.
That time loop theory. And I just really like Vandero's relationship with Dieter. I think they get like a good kind of faux brotherly dynamic. It's very like bromancy. And it means, spoiler alert, it's very impactful when he pushes Dieter into the safe.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm doing my best, like what I think is the best to save your life, because I actually now like have, I feel like...
No, Dieter pushes him into the safe, right?
No, Vandero pushes Dieter into the safe and then locks him in the... Yeah.
No, it's the other way around. I wish. No. Remember, Dieter gets taken by Zeus. Oh, wait, is it the... Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Because I was watching through Army of Thieves thinking Dieter was the one trapped in the safe.
No, but Dieter... Well, because it's a movie... It's a prequel, that's right.
It's a prequel. But they hint at him getting trapped in a safe, so then I just assumed that was a character. Anyway, this is getting very confusing talking about both movies. We'll get there. All right, so Vandero is the one that gets pushed into the safe and survives the story, gets bitten. Right.
Like a dickhead, and it's like, I'm going to infect the whole world now. I don't give a fuck. That's what I didn't like as well. Yeah. I was like, very mad at him.
Yes. But either way, my point still stands. I think the bromance of them and Dieter pushing him into the safe, it's still great. And believable, and it's like, that just makes everything better as well, that it's the other way around, because if we've watched Army of Thieves now, it's like the whole thing is that he's a nerd and he's not the action hero. And then in Army of Thieves, he gets that full character development and becomes the action hero, when it's so unlikely because he's such a, kind of nerdy loser kind of guy.
Exactly.
But yes, Vandero, I mean, look, right, I think it's believable that if there was a zombie apocalypse and you were bitten, I think a normal human being would be like, oh, I'll be fine.
You're right. I mean, we've seen with COVID, I don't need a vaccine.
No, exactly.
What's
People
the
are fucking idiots. So I think that's okay. That some, like Dave Bautista's character would be like, yeah, just shoot me, kill me. I'm going to turn, do it.
I would honestly be like that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. It's a hypothetical.
I would do it myself. I'd be like, let's see. I want to see what it feels like.
I want to see how it feels like.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a device that had to be done for a sequel. It was like, we can't just nuke all the zombies. Yeah. We need someone to make it out and give zombies to everyone. I will say, if the sequel is, like, it needs to do something different than just zombies take over the planet. I liked how Army of the Dead, the zombies were contained to just Las Vegas, and that was different. It wasn't like... And then we see it in Army of Thieves too, that there aren't zombies everywhere. And I like that. That's a different change of pace. So I hope that they do something new when it's the whole planet covered in zombies.
Yeah, I hope that there's a spin on it. Because we've seen it with World War Z, with Zombieland, with...
there's countless others.
There's
Walking
countless
Dead.
Others. Yeah, exactly. Like all these other,
properties that do zombies.
Yeah, they like it's the same kind of formula. There's nothing that you can really do once.
It's always, oh, you think the zombies are the monsters, but actually it's the humans that are the real zombies.
Yeah.
The real monsters, because they turn on each other and they can't get along and they start killing each other, like Last of Us or whatever. Look, we've done that. We've gone there. We've done that. Let's try something else. And I think Zack Snyder is the kind of guy to do it. He goes big picture, and even when no one likes it, he'll still do it. So
that's what I love. He's got that confidence. He's got the balls. He doesn't give a fuck, and that's what we need in this industry. Is we just need someone to give it a go. Just see how it goes.
Exactly. So honestly, I mean, look, I think Army of the Dead, it's not Zack Snyder's best movie. No. It's just, I think he needed this kind of movie where he could create a world from scratch, but just deliver something that's kind of simple. And that at the end of the day, this movie is simple, but it's well done. And the action is great, Like, I love all the fight scenes in the movie, and I just think it was a good little, I think after how toxic Justice League was, I think it was probably a good choice for Zack Snyder to just go to Netflix, make this movie the way he wanted to, and it panned out.
Yeah.
I think.
It did. It pan out well. All right.
Yes. So now, moving on to Army of Thieves, which, again, directed by the person who plays Dieter, Matthias. And I was really confused as to why throughout the movie they were calling him Sebastian, because I thought, isn't his name Dieter? And then they do the thing which a lot of prequels do, where they explain how someone got their name. But in this case, they actually did a good job doing it. And it felt meaningful and impactful, opposed to, I don't have no people. Okay, your name's Han Solo.
I fucking hated that. I was, and the same with, I guess, Nick Fury losing his eye.
Yeah.
Kind of the biggest letdowns of the 21st century.
It's like, if you're going to explain something, do something cool at least. Please, don't make it a joke.
Come on. But yeah, this movie was honestly a joy to watch. It was from the start, just seeing Sebastian's life, just how he's a bank teller.
I really liked how he uploads. He's uploaded hundreds of videos, and they've all got no views. I like that because it's very relatable. I mean, we can directly relate to that. But no, I like the fact that it's he's got his one passion and he's exploring it, and he loves it so much. And he's such a nerd for it. I love it. It's such an adorable character.
And that's how you learn about these safes through him, obviously telling this YouTube video, which is great. Obviously that is so good.
It's an interesting difference for a heist movie to make it more about the safes themselves than what's inside them.
That's true. That is very... And then we obviously see that with Brad Cage.
Oh,
and
fucking
what was
Brad Cage,
the other
man.
Dude? Joe?
No. His name was Ron, but it was Rolf.
Rolf.
Instead of Ralph, it was Rolf.
Rolf. Sick. I actually kind of liked Rolf because he had a little bromance with Seb. But Brad can fuck himself.
Yeah. Brad can honestly go fuck himself.
But I like when he did push him out of Sebastian. He did push Sebastian out of the van, because I was like, he's not going to do that. Why would he do that? He's going to grab him and be like, fucking, you're sweet. But he pushes him out, and I was like, Christ.
Yeah.
So this is at the end of a heist, and for some reason, I can't remember his name. Rolf doesn't stop the van. He's like, nah, we got to keep this thing going.
Well, I think because Brad's going fucking drive.
Yeah,
now,
true.
Right.
He's putting a lot of pressure on the team.
And yeah, I think, the cast of characters, it's Dieter or Sebastian, he's the lovable, quirky, he is the protagonist through and through that you're rooting for, but he's so out of his depth. Again.
Love it.
And it serves as a good intro to Army of the Dead, where he is even more out of his league here because he's never had any experience with this. And I love the idea that this poor man, right, is so in love with safes that he's willing to become a criminal despite the fact that that's not who he is.
Yeah.
And his whole journey throughout the movie is him accepting that's not who he is, because at the end, right, You have, I can't remember her name. What's the girl's name? She's in
there's
Fast and
two.
Furious.
The hacker.
Not the hacker, the main one.
The chick that steals everything.
Yeah,
So
the one
there's a
that's
pickpocketer.
she's in Fast and Furious.
She was a good actor. She's a good actor.
Her name's Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn,
of course.
Gwendolyn.
That's right.
So,
but yeah,
at the end of the movie where they have the Mexican standoff with the Interpol guy, and Gwendolyn's like, this isn't, like, let him go, like, he's not a criminal, blah, blah, blah. And Dieter doesn't want to go because he's like, he wants to be the action hero. You see him throughout the movie, he punches, not Nick Cage, what's his name? Brad Cage in the face, and it nearly breaks his hand.
Does nothing. I laughed out loud.
I love that.
It was hilarious.
He wants to be the action hero.
I also loved because we've seen this so many times before where a character will walk into a room, it's all dark, they turn on the lights, and there'd be someone sitting there, that's been waiting for them. I love when that happens. Sebastian walks back after getting tossed out of the van by Brad, and the two girls are there waiting for him,
and he doesn't
notice them. So they just sit there should we say something? Oh,
and I love how they come to, we'll do a surprise. We'll just do a surprise. And then they surprise him and he gets coffee on himself again. Call back to the cafe. It's a very funny movie, and it's so earnest, right? Like it's like, I don't know if you've seen Ted Lasso, but it's like, it's similar to that in the way it feels and the vibe of just this lovely, lovely man who, is just so passionate about one thing. And I love it. I love Dieter's character so much. I'd say the other cast of characters, I'd say Gwendolyn is good, but everyone else is kind of forgettable. Like, even Brad Cage, I think, is a bit over the top. And I get it, right? That he loves action movies so much, so he pretends he's an action hero. He changes his name to a combination of Brad Pitt and Nicolas Cage. I think that's all very funny. I think him wearing the Nixon mask to rob the bank, call back to Point Break, I think that's very funny. And it's all suits his character well. But I almost would have preferred, like, if he was a throwaway character and you just had the Interpol guy be the main bad guy, right? Well, the police officer be the main bad guy. Because Brad Cage, I would have preferred if he put up like he was this really competent action hero, but he actually wasn't, and he was actually really shit, and then dies immediately, and then you just get rid of him.
Yeah, similar to the Suicide Squad, where the whole team goes in and dies. That would be kind of funny, but then then it kind of ruins the idea of...
Do you think ultimately Brad Cage was a good bad guy?
No. Well, he was a terrible bad guy because, the people he's working with, Rolf...
What's he going to do with just Rolf? How's he going to rob a safe with just Rolf?
But also, Rolf didn't even want to do it, because he liked, he likes Sebastian, they were bros, and by the end he was like, can I change sides? He's like, is this too late to change sides? And I laughed out loud, but I felt sorry because, he was the getaway driver and all he got to drive was a van,
I know. I think that was definitely a wasted opportunity that they never had him actually drive. I think they do some cool sequences throughout the movie, but I think throwing in a chase sequence when you have a getaway driver, it's as well, the hacker never really hacks anything. It's they're just there to fill out the team and the cast of characters.
And to make things more believable, I guess. Yeah. You get the getaway driver, so there's a van, so they...
I guess it's almost funny in that way that you get the team, but they're not always useful. Some members aren't always useful. Yeah. So, and I guess that plays into how this movie is trying to be different as a heist movie.
That's true. Because it was, I guess, there were 4 heists, but it wasn't about the heist. It was about, these safes and what they meant. But...
One thing I struggled with was, why did Gwendolyn care more about the safes than the money?
Yeah, that wasn't really explained. I wish it more...
I would have preferred if she had changed her mind because she liked Sebastian.
See, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that, she started liking him because she was, following him around and stuff and seeing just this guy, just kind of survive on his own because at the start he's a fucking loner. But it's not like overly done where he's alone. Like, because I swear some movies do that. Like this person is eating lunch alone. Like he was, he was enjoying life, but being alone.
Like he doesn't have like a Joker moment where he's all like depressed by himself.
Exactly. This was kind of like this guy survives and he's just chilling. But yeah, I kind of wish that she developed more feelings for him, and then through that was like, oh, I want to see you find this magnum opus, this I can't pronounce the fucking name of this.
I know the German name.
Safe. Yeah. Well, it's a long name. It's a very long name. Gustappen or something. But yeah, I feel like that would have helped.
Now, what did you think, since it was directed by Matthias, what did you think of the directing? Because I think the action sequences were a little hard to follow.
Yeah, look, the only one, mainly, the only action sequence, the one where Brad put the Nixon mask on, I thought it was not too bad. Just a few questions.
Yeah.
Like, why was the security guard drinking beers?
Well, I kind of like that. That, to me, that feels very realistic, that if your job is to look at a monitor 24/7 and no one's looking at you...
That's true.
Then you might have a few beers every now and then.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, the whole cracking safe underground race thing.
I know. I wrote that in my notes too. There's an underground safe cracking competition.
It was so similar to Snake Eyes and how they just have the underground fight. Like, it was like not believable at all that there's just these underground things that happen. Like, oh, there's just this underground fight.
It's funny. It's like almost Squid Game is more believable. Like
exactly.
that kind of game as opposed to just safe cracking.
Like six people.
What did he win? Did he win anything?
Nothing. He won a fucking award with a crowbar on it. And I was like...
Why? What? Who has the money to set this up and for what purpose?
I feel like it would have been better if Gwen had set up her own thing of like...
Just something smaller.
Yeah, like she has a gun to his head and it's like, all right, you have to open this safe. Otherwise, I'll pull the trigger and then the gun's empty or something. Like something just to introduce us to the characters, further forward. But yeah, that was just very silly.
It was very silly. The movie itself is sillier than Army of the Dead. Mm-hmm. I think they're going for that. But sometimes I think it is a bit too silly. And I think that's one of the prime examples that why is there this safe cracking competition.
Mm-hmm. But every moment with Seb, though, like just...
He sells it.
He sells it. He like just how he screams when he's like, on the bike and he fucking goes down the stairs funny. Like on one wheel. I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
That, when they're cracking the second safe, or before they crack the second safe, and they're in the elevator, and then they go up and there's guards there, and then Gwendolyn has to improvise. Yeah. It's a quick moment and he just goes, oh fuck, and it's just so funny. It's so funny. His character throughout the movie, it's just he's consistent with his character. And I think it's hard when you're playing such a quirky character to be consistent, and it's so consistent and it's so wonderful. It's wonderful. It is.
So it's honestly a masterpiece. And that's why I was kind of disappointed. Also, I do want to explain. So Gwen tells him that the last safe is in Nevada.
Yeah.
I remember her saying that. So she gives him a ticket to go to California.
Yeah.
So then he's in Gwendolyn's shop, if you didn't notice, the shop that he's residing at, where I can't remember his name.
Dave Bautista?
Dave Bautista finds him at the start or in the epilogue of this movie. Like, how did she know that kind of was going to happen? How did she know that?
Well, I've got a theory. So, we didn't talk. We'll quickly go back to Army of the Dead because we didn't talk about the big twist, which was that the big man that orchestrated it, the businessman, the actual goal wasn't to steal the money. It was to get the zombie DNA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what if all of these safes are under his ownership?
I see.
And he orchestrated the whole thing to see who would be able to be a believable person to enter. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Because he would have seen the YouTube videos, be like, and I own all these safes because I'm a fucking billionaire. And I do want this zombie DNA to weaponize and do all that. Because I remember that was a very believable thing. That was also very believable. Can't remember his character's name, but he gets fucking swiped by the zombie tiger. I did like his character, and I did like that there were other, side things going on. Because there always is in these kind of movies, like, it's like Squid Game, how there's, the cop and stuff.
Yeah. There's
going
a
on the side. And it was a very believable side plot. That, the money just didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But I think that will definitely contribute to Planet of the Dead quite a bit.
So I am very excited for Zack Snyder's next zombie movie, but before that, I'm more excited for his next movie. So he's entered a partnership with Netflix, which I think is a good place for him. I want to see his movies on the big screen, but I think Zack Snyder to a lot of studios is a bit of a tough sell.
Yeah.
And he carries a lot of baggage, and I think Netflix is the type of place that wouldn't care about that. So I think it's a good studio for him to be at. And his next movie, right, is based on his failed Star Wars pitch, where he pitched a movie to Disney about this epic, like imagine Zack Snyder's Star Wars, and they turned him down, and now he's making it with Netflix instead. And it's like, of course he'll have to change a few things because it won't be Star Wars, but it's going to be a sci-fi space movie. Zack Snyder.
Wow.
Zack Snyder Star Wars. Just picture that. Zack Snyder Star Wars.
I'm excited. I'm excited for a dark and just gory as fuck, just sci-fi adventure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think what other sci-fi movies because it obviously won't be like Dune, because Dune's just so far in the future. This is kind of be more Star Warsy, kind of like the Mandalorian. These little kind of it's probably a little heist, hopefully, because that's what I was thinking. It'd be cool if he added the idea that what they were stealing, had unusual properties that, would offer, these characters powers or just, would be just detrimental to the universe itself. So what they're stealing is actually, very questionable, and that would be interesting. Because instead of it's just being like, oh, it's gold or money, it's like...
Yeah, let's make it something else. And especially in this world of Army of the Dead, it's so far there's anything is open. Right, any sci-fi kind of element is open. So I think, they may. I think Zack Snyder will, I think in his new partnership with Netflix, he'll just go into weird directions. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I am excited. I'm glad that, Netflix is trusting him, because he is a very talented person.
I do just have one quick final thought to end on for Army of Thieves. And that's that I would have almost preferred if it was more of a national treasure than a heist movie. In that you have all of these safes, and what if there was more to it?
That is true. That is, because they're all at just big, the bank and then the casino. It would have been interesting if, one of them was lost, and fucking... Or
there was
forest.
Secret compartments in it or something. Or there was some...
Yeah, that's true.
Something they were building towards in this secret. Because ultimately, the discovery for Dieter is more personal than a big revelation. So I just might have liked if there was that. My one thing with the movie is it kind of feels a bit, at the end of the day, it feels slightly pointless because no one got anything out of it apart from Dieter, who just got the satisfaction of it. And maybe if there was just some other element, I might have gelled with it a bit more. But it was an enjoyable ride. Do you have any concluding remarks?
Well, I'm going to say that I honestly enjoyed this movie a little bit more than Army of the Dead. Purely because again, watching Sebastian's character or Dieter's character,
he's so lovable.
So lovable. I've just never had such a wholesome, lovable, kind of quirky, I wouldn't say, just very awkward character, but very, just awkward in such a way that it's just, adorable.
Yeah.
In a heist movie. Heist movies, Ocean's 11's, everyone's so
cool.
So cool, so cool. You got fucking Matt Damon, you got fucking George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and all the rest that are just, fucking insane at what they do.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, in a cognitive team, whereas here it's just like, I want to fucking do one of
I
these
just
ones.
love safes. I just love
Yeah.
safes.
But
I'm
that's
willing
not
to
the
commit-
emphasis.
No, I know.
The emphasis is just Sebastian's lovely character. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I agree. So, we've got a bit of time left. I'm going to pull up some Zack Snyder trivia. And we're going to
Lovely.
try our best to see how well do we know.
I don't know
Zack
him too
Snyder.
well, honestly. I need to know him better. I need to have a beer with the man, honestly.
Okay, now... Okay, this the first one I pulled up was just... I don't want just Justice League. I want more than...
Justice trivia.
No, I want more than just Justice League trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want
Okay, here we go. This one's from 2014. We're going to test our knowledge of... Oop, I accept. We're going to test our knowledge on 300, Men of Steel, and Watchmen, and more.
Okay, nice.
Just Zack Snyder quiz. There's 15 questions. Okay, first question.
Here we go.
Which film did Zack Snyder not direct? Sucker Punch, Daredevil, Legends of the Guardians. Now, that last one is the animated Owl movie, and I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember not watching it.
Yes, same. I do remember.
I do remember Sucker Punch, and I think he did direct that.
I'm pretty sure he directed that too, and I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
didn't direct Ben Affleck in Daredevil.
Yeah, no, so...
And we are right, 1 from 1.
Nice. Fucking... God. I didn't really like Sucker Punch, to be honest. I mean, other than the sick action sequences, like, it just didn't really make any sense. Like...
Well, that is Zack Snyder in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, and... Oh, fuck, I actually want to watch it now, because the...
I kind of want to. I haven't seen it in ages, but it's
the scene with the
it's
huge samurai?
Yeah,
Fucking-
it's
that was insane.
it's the women that are dressed in barely any clothing in kind of this space setting, just killing these massive things with giant swords.
They're in an orphanage, in normal day, and then...
This is Zack Snyder in a nutshell. It's fucking just
It's
weird.
beautiful.
He makes a movie just for himself. So I do actually want to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one. Which director was Zack Snyder classmates with in California? Eli Roth. I don't think I've ever seen an Eli Roth movie.
No.
Michael Bay or Frank Miller. So Frank Miller is the Sin City guy.
I am going to say...
I don't think it's Michael Bay. If it's Michael Bay,
And it's not Michael Bay.
That's so
it can't,
funny.
It can't be. It cannot be Michael
I'm going to
Bay.
say it's Frank Miller because I think Frank
I think
Miller.
so, yeah.
Let me Google it. I'm pretty sure Frank Miller. You could classify this as cheating, but I'm just looking up who Frank Miller is. Frank Miller.
It is...
Oh no. Frank Miller is the comic book writer who created. And he also did. I'm pretty sure he did direct Sin City. Anyway, he's the comic book writer who came up with like a lot of Batman stories and stuff that Zack Snyder took inspiration from. So then I don't think it's him. I think it's Eli Roth. And I just want to look up an Eli Roth movie because I don't honestly. I know of him, right? You know of him, right? Too.
Yeah, I do. But I don't...
The only Eli Roth.
No.
He directed that movie with Ana de Armas and who's John Wick?
Oh,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Knock Knock. You know that movie where it's like he's home alone.
Get out. No, that's a terrible movie. All right.
Anyway,
Eli Roth.
I'm gonna say it's Eli Roth, and I was wrong. It was Michael Bay.
No way. No way.
I'm glad you didn't
Zack
stay friends with
Snyder
him.
And Michael Bay, what in
They
the
are
world?
similar in a way.
Yeah, in that... Yeah, they
They don't give a
are-
fuck about anyone else.
That's true. And that has seen them be very successful.
Yes, in very different ways. Because they both make quite divisive movies.
That's true.
And they both made horrendous movies as well. They both made shocking movies.
Just unseeable movies. Unwatchable movies.
Okay, here we go. Who wrote the 300 comic book series? Right, that 300 was based off. Zack Snyder, Mark Millar, who I think he created Kingsman, or Frank Miller. I think it was Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Right. What was
Nice.
Snyder's first feature film directing job? 300, Watchmen, or Dawn of the Dead?
I swear Dawn of the Dead was before 300.
I think it was too. I think that was his first movie because I think he started on zombies, and then Army of the Dead is like his return to zombies.
Yeah.
We were right.
This is so easy. It's insane.
We're so good. We only got one wrong, and it was my fault. Actually, no, you didn't say Michael Bay either.
I
Fuck you.
didn't say. Yeah, we both. That was a
Collective.
collective.
Choice.
Yeah, collective fuck up.
Oh, that's right. So, what type of TV adverts was Zack Snyder best known for early in his career? So, he started, like a lot of directors, you start on TV ads. And I think that's where he did a lot of like slow-mo shit, where he's kind of known for that now. It's his slow-mo. Was it cleaning products, oven chips, or cars?
Cars.
I have a feeling it was cleaning products. I don't know why.
Yeah, because the slow-mo for the fucking, a cleaning product
Or maybe
on
it was oven chips.
What are oven chips?
I think cars is like 2. I don't think it's cars.
Yeah, cars is... Yeah, you're right, actually. You'd probably need a special director.
I'm going to say, should I just do cleaning products?
I reckon cleaning products.
It was cars. It was cars.
Fuck!
Sorry. You said it. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. That one. I'm an idiot. I just thought cars would be like too obvious. Like, oh, of course he directed cars.
Yeah, true. But slow-mo. The slow-mo on that.
Yeah. You know what? I'd actually buy a car if it was in a Zack Snyder advert.
Yeah. If he blew it up, I'd buy the shit out of it.
It blew it up in slow motion.
Yeah, with someone getting chopped up in it.
Yeah, with Batman killing people, because that's what he does. How did the actors in 300 achieve their muscular look? So, who's in 300? Michael Fassbender. He's in 300, right?
Yes, he's fucking shredded.
And Gerard Butler, right? Yeah, so was it CGI, prosthetics, or lots of training? Now,
Gerard Butler, Michael Fassbender. I feel like
they don't come across to me as massive people though.
Gerard, he's a pretty menacing dude. He's like, I feel like it'd be like just a couple of days in the gym, he'd be fucking huge. Michael Fassbender's a little bit less believable, but he has played Magneto.
I want to add one point. In Watchmen, right, Dr. Manhattan, the Blue Man, he is CGI muscular. So Zack Snyder...
But he's fucking...
I'm just saying Zack Snyder's not opposed. But then again, you could say Ben Affleck was real muscular. But Zack Snyder is not opposed to using CGI. So it could be CGI. And I think it's more likely CGI than prosthetics. So is it CGI or lots of training?
Lots of training.
Okay. Since I fucked up last time, I'll go with it. You're right. You're killing it. You're a Zack Snyder fanboy. Who knew?
No,
you were tweeting release the Snyder Cut 3 years ago.
Before the Justice League even was
before
announced.
the theatrical cut came out, you're like, release the Snyder Cut.
Come on. Snyder, come on. But
Okay. So I don't know why I said it that way. When is Watchmen set? 1980s, present day, the 2080s. Now, I know the answer.
It's 1980s, isn't it?
Yes. Because it's all around the
Vietnam
Nixon.
War and stuff.
Well, Vietnam War. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, later, after the...
Yeah, I mean, they go back to it.
Yeah, Cold War and stuff like that. But yeah. And that's what I love. Like, we need more superhero...
Yeah, set in a time
movies.
period. And not in the 90s like Captain Marvel. No, like an actual time period.
No one actually likes the 90s.
We did get Wonder Woman in the 80s, and it wasn't that great.
And no one watched it.
No one watched it.
You can't... Like, they called it 1984. Like...
Yeah.
We'll get people to watch it because it's in 1984. It was such a great year. Like, we had Back to the Future and... the
George
Olympics.
Orwell? Was that 1980? That's 1984.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
But no,
I know. I
80s,
think
70s, 60s.
Look, what they were going for with that movie was a throwback to the original Superman movies, except that's not what anyone was expecting because that's not what the first Wonder Woman is at all. So it's just a bit of a shock to audiences, I think.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
Okay, next one. Which band has Snyder directed a music video for? 30 Seconds to Mars, which is Jared Leto's band, right? So there's a connection. There is a connection there, though. Jared Leto's the Joker, potentially.
You reckon Mark Snyder would say yes to that? I think he's already got enough balls in the industry to be like, fuck off.
I don't honestly. I've never listened to a 30 Seconds to Mars song in my life. 30 Seconds to Mars, I should say. I'm never giving Jared Leto more money than he deserves for anything. Anyway, or is it My Chemical Romance or Fall Out Boy?
Fall Out Boy.
I'm going to say I agree, Fall Out Boy. Wrong, My Chemical Romance.
Okay, thank God it wasn't 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yes.
That would be a disaster.
Why is 300 called 300?
This is the 300 Spartans.
The Spartans kill 300. Sparta has ruled for 300 years. There are 300 Spartan men fighting. Yes.
That
correct.
Is,
but that's just that's not Zack Snyder trivia.
That's just general
That's general knowledge, man. That's history.
They had a mad KD, though. Every single one of those Spartans had at least, 50-1 kill-death ratio.
Question number 10. Who turned down the chance to direct Man of Steel? Now, I think you're going to get this one. Was it actor Kenneth Branagh? No, it wasn't. Or was it Ben Affleck or Christopher Nolan?
It's Christopher Nolan.
It was Christopher Nolan. Of course, after the Dark Knight trilogy, he had an idea to do a Superman movie. He then developed it and then decided, you know what? I'm not going to direct it. I'll get my friend, buddy, Zack Snyder to direct it.
And it was fucking really good.
It was. Man of Steel's... I think Man of Steel, at the time, people hated it. And now in hindsight, people are like, wait a minute. This is actually a really good movie.
I actually need to rewatch it. I watched it when it came out. And I really liked it. Because, we'd seen Superman so many times. And here it just been done very well. Because it was posed an actual threat. Because, there were other Supermen. What do you do?
I have some bad news.
What?
It's saying it was Ben Affleck and not Christopher Nolan. Now, I know that this is wrong.
What the fuck?
Did he actually? Ben Affleck was in the running to direct Superman.
Why?
He's a director.
Yeah, he is a director, that's right.
He's a director.
I keep forgetting.
That's so funny. Wow, he almost directed 2 superhero movies and never got the chance. Poor guy. Can you imagine, just with how sick the Batman looks, can you imagine if instead we got Ben Affleck's version of it?
Yeah,
it would have been a weird world.
I don't, because he's a good guy. He's a good actor. He's done really well in the industry.
Good Will Hunting, that he wrote with Matt Damon, fantastic movie.
He wrote and directed that. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if he directed it. I don't know who directed.
Okay.
What was it? What did I just say? Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Who directed Good Will Hunting? No, it was Gus Van Sant.
Okay.
Or however you say his name. But yes. Oh, it's a quick point around the Batman. The budget has been revealed for that movie, and it's only $100 million. So you could get 2 The Batmans for 1 Jungle Cruise. Just a quick budget, boys. 2 The Batmans for 1 Jungle Cruise.
Let's actually look at the budget for Army and Dead and the Army of Thieves. Again, Army of Thieves. There is no Army of Thieves. They're just a group.
Anyway,
there's 5 of them.
I'll quickly tally up. We got 6 out of 10 on the trivia. A lot were my fault, so I'll cop that one. But hey, 6 out of 10. That's probably better than Zack Snyder's batting average from critics. So
lovely. All right. Well, okay. So it says here, Army of the Dead budget was $90 million.
Good budget.
It's pretty good.
That's a good budget. It spends it well. The CGI in that movie is pretty good.
It does. It really does.
Now, Army of Thieves, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I can't find the Army of Thieves.
I'd say Army of Thieves would have to be less.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'd be like 70 or 60 million, I reckon.
I reckon you could do it for a good 50. Nah.
Let's have a look. Oh, here is this it? Well, I just want a number. Just give me a number. Any number.
Yeah, well, it might not even be a real number. It's just...
Yeah. 1. It's 1.
It's
$1.
That's the best budget there ever is.
Yeah, no, I think because there weren't actually many theatrical
No.
effects
It was a very simple, like, the sets were simple, the action sequences were quite simple. There was a lot of shaky cam hiding a lot of shit as well. So I think, it would have been low. It would have been lower than Army of the Dead, but either way, Army of the Dead's budget, that's a good budget, brothers. That's a good budget, brothers.
Yeah, we've done
Good
well.
round of applause. So that has been the podcast this week.
Yeah.
If you've liked it, please just, tell a friend, like us, share it.
Please.
Our podcast now, and we're at a pod now on Instagram and TikTok, where we post funny clips and videos. Although recently I've been a bit lazy, but they'll start back up. I swear. And next week we got what are we doing next week? Eternals. Hopefully, if we can get out to theaters, we'll watch Eternals. Give the big review,
and hopefully we'll be together.
Hopefully together. Hopefully next podcast will be in person, and then
we'll get hammered.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. So yes, that is of course to come next week. So please look forward to that. And as well, in general, we can now go out to see movies in movie theaters. There's a lot coming out. We'll see what we can see. We'll probably get to a lot of movies eventually, but there are still movies coming out digitally. So, it'll be a surprise maybe some weeks. But we'll see. There's plenty out. There's plenty to discuss now. We've had a drought of movies, but now it's just the floodgates are open.
Oh, yeah.
Countless movies are coming out now. So look forward to all the good stuff that is to come from a podcast now.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you next time. Thank you very much for watching. And good night.